What's up, guys? Welcome. Let me get the camera situated. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Welcome to the latest episode of the Terrible Towel Post Game Show. I am your host, SimFBallCritic. And before we get started, man, let's jump into the chat really quick, man. I want to give some shout outs and welcome some of you guys in. The Hawk, Eli, Jordan Mid, whoever's man, Timothy Stewart, Tyrese Harris, Michael Garman, Naiz is in the building, Taquan Wiggins, Jared Fry, Ali Howard, Mariana Papa, Rel Fax. Let's see, who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody? I'm not sure if I missed anybody. My brother Tony is in the building, and I'm sure my brother Kenyon is in the building as well. Bozo gets some blame, sorry. All right, now Kenya, this is what I want to hear. You said Boswell. All right. This is what I want to hear, people, before we even dive into this, because I'm so pissed off on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm not. Because this is kind of what I expected from the team. This is what we've seen in key situations from our team defensively. But this is what I want first. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to throw it to you guys first. I'm going to throw it to the chat first. I want you guys to fire away. Should the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin? Let me hear it. And I want to hear why. Okay? We're going to address that first. I want to hear your reasoning why. I am here to listen. Whether I agree or disagree, I am here to listen to your reason as to why Mike Tomlin alone should be fired. Okay? Let's do that first. And I'm going to look at it, as they're coming in. So let me see what you guys got. Some guys said no. Some of you guys said HELL hockey sticks, no. Let's see. What else? Tomlin, no. Butler, yes. Okay. Nah, Butler got to go. No, not Tomlin. Just Butler. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm going to let you guys keep rolling with it for a moment because this is all Keith Butler, Sim. Okay. That's what Kenyon says. Ralph Fax says no. RJ Killer says no. Eric Thomas says no, he should, but 1 to 2 year lease at this point. Okay, I got you. Timothy Stewart says yes, Tomlin, because he is too inconsistent. Okay, I need you to be a little more specific with that, my brother. That's not a good enough answer in my opinion. Spirit of Truth says do not fire Tomlin. Okay. King Pop Style says Butler. It's a close one, but no. Okay, I respect that. How many losing seasons has he had? Has the two most wins as a head coach? That is still coaching. Okay, got you. Ali Howard says no, his plan. Look at how they work. If executed better. Okay, got you. It's Bill, then Mike. Okay, got you there. Whose man says keep Tomlin. Okay, Caleb says I've never said it before, but yes. The key to Tomlin was he never compounded mistakes for 2 weeks, but it has been 3 weeks in a row. Okay, valid point. Then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. All right, so let's dive into it. Do I see my father-in-law, Leonard? Let me see. Is he in here? Nope, I don't see Leonard in here because he's upset. And I'm going to tell you guys what Leonard said as we left the place where we were viewing the game. The Hawk says Tomlin does not call the defense schemes. On the winning touchdown, you can tell the secondary was confused. That's Butler. Okay. Kenyon says, if you need me to come on and explain, I will. Hey, Kenyon, definitely if you want to come on, I'll get you in here. I know we got 1 or 2 other guys that said they wanted to come on. Jesse here in Skype, but I'll be happy to bring you on as well. We try to keep the calls relatively short, but obviously, with Kenyon, Kenyon doesn't call that often. We may allow Kenyon to go a little longer, but let's see. Jordan Mid says Keith got to go. Yep. All right, so let's jump into it, guys. Let me give you my complaints, and then we're gonna dive back into you guys. First and foremost, here's my opinion. I didn't like what I saw out of the coaching staff as a whole today. Now, there were a couple things. Let me make sure I'm in the camera properly. Yes, I am. There was a couple of things that I could blame everybody for. Okay, number one, what was the game plan coming into this game in terms of defensively? We saw early and often, they got Jared Cook matched up against a linebacker. Okay, we saw them, expose L.J. Fort early in that drive. It might have even been the first play. They got Cook split out wide, L.J. Fort on him. L.J. Fort did a relatively, good job, the best he could Derek Carr puts the ball right where it needs to be. Cook gets it. He's a big target. Okay. Now, let me shoot the coaching staff just a touch, a little tiny bit of bail here. We saw a lot of people matched up against Jared Cook and they couldn't do nothing with him. Edmonds couldn't do anything with him. Burnett couldn't do anything with him. Bostic, we know how that's going to go. I think we might have even saw Mike Hilton once or twice, and I know we saw Mike Hilton against, what's your boy's name, Jordy Nelson, okay? But Jared Cook was a matchup nightmare. However, here's what we didn't see. This is where I have to blame the coaching staff, and I'm going to include Mike Tomlin on this. Again, I don't agree with everything that Tomlin does, but I don't think the guy deserves to be fired, and I want to let you guys know that if you're expecting him to be fired, I don't know why you're expecting that. He hasn't had a losing season yet. It's going to take more than one abysmal season for him to get fired if you look at the Steelers history. So whether we want him to go or not, I think we need to put that to bed because we're putting enough, too much effort into that, and it's probably not going to happen. Let's look at how else we can improve, okay? We know Tomlin's, his error and his ways. Time management. Again, there was another time where we had a timeout that we had to take offensively because it looks like guys didn't know where to line up. That was in the first half. Then you could question the timeout on the 4th and 1 play with Josh Dobbs. Now, me personally, I understand taking the timeout in that situation because, and only because, you got a young quarterback, not the starter. You want to make sure you got the play that you want, okay? And some people can question that play call as well. I think it was a relatively decent play call. It could have worked. It didn't. But I would rather see Rosie Nix in that situation as the lead blocker. And I'm going to allude to that a little bit later. Tony talked about it during the game as well. Why haven't we seen that much? Okay, so let's get back to Tomlin. Those things right there I didn't like. I didn't like some of the clock management. And here's another thing I don't like that I have to put on the head man. Again, not saying I want him fired, but I got to give him some blame. You always hear me say that Coach Tomlin doesn't call the defense, nor does he call the offense. Okay, that's fair. Mike Tomlin always says he wants his staff to coach. He allows his guys to be coaches. I get it. He expects them to do their job. The only thing I might have to put on Tomlin is, let's say if Butler's not getting it done, I want to see him be more involved. Like maybe one week he says, listen, I'm going to take over the defense. Now, granted, we don't know how much he does or doesn't do that. We have no idea. We don't know what he calls and what he doesn't call. A lot of times the camera will pan to him, and you saw even on offense when he made the decision, go for it. Okay? And he made that call. Now, some people are going to blame him for that. So he does influence the game. However, I don't believe, which they've told us out of his own mouth, he's actually said it in interviews, does not design the scheme and game plan offensively and defensively. Yes, he can step in and override, but he doesn't come up with the plan, okay? But like I said, I would like to at least nudge him a little bit and be like, okay, how long are you going to allow this to continue to happen under your care? You understand what I'm saying? Like, maybe now you need to step in. You come from a defensive background in terms of coaching in the NFL. He was a wide receiver in college, but in the NFL, he comes from a defensive background. I need you to be more involved with the defense instead of allowing Butler to continue to be inept in most cases. Okay? Too many times we saw the secondary acting like they didn't know what to do. Mike Hilton slips on that last touchdown. What about the play when they ran that, probably their 4th tight end across the formation to score a touchdown? Vince Williams is all caught up in the wash. Okay? I'm screaming, and I'm telling Leonard as we're watching that last touchdown, you see how they're in that, they're in 2x2 set, but there's a compressed set. Watch rub routes. Watch pivot routes. And it looks like, for the most part, we ran man coverage there, which a lot of times what's going to happen in that situation is easy to run a pivot. It's easy to run a rub, right? What we see other defensive teams, and I think I talked about this last week, we see other teams have more high awareness, and they'll pass off the rub guy. If the guy that's stacked inside goes outside, the outside defender takes him. and vice versa. We've seen teams switch that off and be like, oh, that was great how they played that. We're not disciplined on defense. And here's where I come into saying, I don't know how we can always blame the head coach for that. Players have to be disciplined. Do you really believe that the coaches are not coaching properly in terms of technique and being disciplined? I don't believe that. Now, I can look at this game and I can clearly see that I don't know what Keith Butler was doing in certain situations. Again, I'll give him a little bit of credit and I would say, okay, I saw you try to do something different. I saw you at times try to get a different matchup. Again, Burnett was getting torched by Cook. I saw, again, we saw it again early in the game. LJ Ford out there on him. You know, Terrell Edmonds out there on him, not able to do anything. Now, here's the problem. The Raiders came out and they did exactly what the Chargers did. For the most part. Came out and spread us out. And that's what I'm talking about. I need to see us try some more things. What is it going to hurt? Maybe bring in a guy like Brian Allen as another corner. He might not be great, but can we think that he might be able to do a better job against a big body tight end in that situation? Better than a linebacker? Okay, here's why I'm going to blame the coach again. I got off track, but I'm going to get back on it. Last week we heard both Tomlin and Butler say, well, you know, we didn't have Burnett, we didn't have Cam Sutton, which these are guys who are key to our, sub package or dime package football, our interior guys. We didn't see Cam Sutton one time on defense today. However, Cam Sutton was a gunner on the punt team, so he was active. So you gave us that excuse last week. However, we didn't see Cam Sutton in these situations. And this is where I say, yes, it is coaching, defensive side of the ball, but I cannot put all of the blame on Coach Tomlin. Let me talk about some other things that ticked me off in this game. We had, I'll count them, two times we had the opportunity to intercept the ball. We don't. Mike Hilton, in your hands, you drop it. There was another time when, who was it? Who was the other guy? Sean Davis. And the way he comes flying in, into that play where if Derek Cook throws it in the right spot, the guy's wide open. The only reason why Sean Davis had an opportunity to possibly get a pick is because the ball is thrown, in the wrong direction. 2 opportunities, you get your hands on the ball, you don't turn it over. The Steelers do not create turnovers on defense. This defense is lack of scheme and lack of talent. You watch that Baltimore game against the Chiefs. Yes, they lost, but for the most part, if we had that type of capable defense that could get stops, we off and running. And speaking of off and running, the Raiders allow about 150 yards on the ground per game. Why couldn't we run the ball against them? Don't give me, because Le'Veon Bell isn't there. We had no problems running the football early in the year with teams that are better against the run. Okay, James Conner wasn't there, which he gives you more of that pop. He's more quick out of the chute. You can clearly see the lack of get there and go from Jalen Samuels. No disrespect, but he looks like he was hunting and pecking a lot of the game. Offensive line didn't really open up as many holes, but like I said, there were opportunities where even on the TV screen, you can look at the game and say, cut it up. What are you waiting for? Get in there. Quite a few times when it was like 3rd and 3 or 2nd and 3 or something like that, if you just cut it up, you'll get the first down. Why were we not able to run the football? Why were we so conservative with Josh Dobbs? However, but Joshua Dobbs is not going to hurt nobody passing the football. I've been telling you guys that. And I have to keep saying that because people like my father-in-law, Leonard, watching the game, he is high on Dobbs. Only because he gives you another dimension. He can roll out. We can run a sprint out with him. He might pick up the first down with his feet. Great. But when you have to drop him back, He is a liability. Excuse me, let me say that again. I got tongue twisted. He's a liability, okay? Joshua Dobbs' accuracy was the reason why he didn't go high in the draft, folks. Why are we expecting him to have a great passing game? And he's very locked in to one guy. We saw that. We saw him do that against, was it Carolina? No, it was the Ravens game. He found Juju, but he's locked in on him the whole time. He doesn't go through his progressions. But knowing this, Randy Fichtner, why did Joshua Dobbs take a lot of snaps under center? When, if you've been paying attention, the Steelers run from shotgun 70 to 75% of the time, why was it so many times that we have Joshua Dobbs just under center? Very generic, very vanilla, very conservative with this guy in the game. Run maybe some more of the sprint outs. Hey, maybe on that 4th and 1, what about borrowing from what the Carolina Panthers do? Run a bootleg with Joshua Dobbs. He seemed to be able to pick up first downs very easily with his legs today. No creativity there. We are so vanilla on offense, that powerful offense. And if we didn't have Juju Smith-Schuster, think about it. There's a lot of games that we're not even in. How many times did Juju save the team today? Now let's talk about Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger threw 2 interceptions, which should have been intercepted. Let's talk about the first one. When the safety is sitting in the end zone, I don't know if it was the free or the strong. May have been the strong based on where he was lined up, depending on how the formation was. I don't know which side was the strong side. I have to go back and look at it. But do you remember the first play into the end zone? When the safety has the ball hit him right in his hands and he drops it. Talking about double coverage, the safety didn't move laterally more than 3 yards. He was in that spot the entire time, and Ben throws it right to him. Should have been an interception. Let's talk about the first pass to Switzer down in the end zone when Switzer fell and stumbled. A lot of people are going to say, oh, you got to keep your feet. But why did he fall? Because Roethlisberger throws it inside, and then Switzer has to turn inside to catch it, got tangled up in his feet, fell down, couldn't get to the end zone. And let's talk about the touchdown pass, the last one to Juju. How does that defender not pick that off? How? How does he not pick that off? Our team lacks ball skills. You remember that third down or one of them downs when they threw it and Joe Haden was all over it, swatted at the ball and missed it? This don't happen to other cornerbacks. Our team seriously lacks in ball skills. They can't get the ball away. They cannot get the interceptions, and they barely get batted down balls. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, man. And then Mike Hilton falls down on the last touchdown. Listen, man. Here's another thing with coaching, because I got to say it, even though I understand why he didn't do it. Didn't challenge that pass to Roberts. The ball hit the ground, but you know why they didn't challenge it? Because they had already lost a first down. They had already lost the first time out. Remember? They had to call a timeout earlier in the game, earlier in that half. So now you're hesitant to challenge because you lost the timeout that you didn't need to call. If I got any beef with Mike Tomlin, the biggest problem I have with him that I can put it right on him, clock management. Why do we have times where we're calling early timeouts in the halves every game, it seems like, because of substitutions? What is going on with that? That I have to put squarely on the head man. As far as the defense, I can give him a slight pass. And I say slight again because I feel like he needs to start taking over more. But I give him a slight pass with play calling because the defense and the offense of play calling is not on Mike Tomlin. But what is on Mike Tomlin is the guys that he have employed on his staff. Why is Keith Butler still the defensive coordinator? We saw this last year. So we're going to see really what the deal is with Mike Tomlin. And you guys may hear my wife above. I hear she's on the phone as well. Don't worry about that. But guys, that right there is blowing my mind. It is literally blowing my mind. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can tell her to be quiet just a little bit. Hold on. All right, now we're back. Oh, yeah, man. It's sad, guys. It's really sad. I don't see that I have any callers outside of Jesse. Jesse, if you're still listening, let me know if you still want to come on. If not, we're going to definitely get to Kenyon. It's really sad, guys. Let me explain to you why. We already know this about the Steelers defense, man. But it hurts more as a fan when you're in winnable situations, okay? We're in a winnable situation against the Denver Broncos. If you don't turn the ball over, if you don't fumble a bonehead fumble with Grimble, and if Ben doesn't turn the ball over, we probably win that game, okay? Now, in terms of the Chargers, you up 23-7 at half in Heinz Field. And they marched their way right down the field each time, and they beat you. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, the offense got cold in the second half. They gave you 30 points. 30. That's where we at now. We expected our offense to give us 30 to win. They got to do more than that to win a football game. It's the defense. Yes, the offense gets cold from time to time, but this is the NFL, folks. People are going to stop you on some drives. You're not going to score on every single play. It's not going to be a Kansas City versus Rams game 54-51. And even better, in that game, we saw great defensive performances. Fumbles, pickoffs, which we're not getting. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's driving me crazy. I don't even know what else to say. Let me see. Let me see if I got something else, man. Then we'll grab Jesse for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll get Kenyon on. Let me see what else I had in my notes, guys. And then I'm going to definitely take a look at the chat. Yeah, I got my information here saying that Ben almost threw 2 red zone, and I might not even say red zone. He almost threw 2 end zone interceptions. And the Steelers defense just looked terrible on that first possession, man. Just terrible. Stephon Tua gets a big sack to force a 3rd and long. It was a couple times that the defense stepped up. And that's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. The defense just can't close. They just can't close. And the offense didn't help them that much. Oh, wait. Whoa. Time out. There is something else I want to say. I'm going to put my thinking cap on. Let me get it real tight. And I'm going to think real quick. Does anybody else think Ben Roethlisberger could have came back in that game a little earlier? Am I in the minority by thinking that? Listen, Ben is not the reason why we lost. But is anybody else feeling that Ben Roethlisberger could have come in the game a lot earlier? Who makes this decision? Ben, coaching staff, as you're watching Josh Dobbs not get the job done, as you're watching the predictability of the play calling, the running game not going, as you're watching the defense actually hold at this moment. You're watching the defense hold for a couple drives, and then boom, spring a leak on that last opportunity, Raiders score. Ben hit, they show Ben being the hero, puts his helmet on, straps the chin, comes out, drives down the field, gets a touchdown. Makes you wonder, could we have done that earlier? Now, if you want to say where the coaches wanted to see if they could save Ben, great. I get it. However, comma but, not in that game when Josh Dobbs can't move the football. Ridiculous. And we think we're going to beat the Patriots or the Saints. Here's another thing that really grinds my gears. The Pittsburgh Steelers was in a situation where they could control their own fate once again. Patriots lose on a fluke play. Patriots lose. Chiefs fight off the Ravens. All the Steelers got to do at this point, win today, try to get a win at home against New England, try to win against the Saints. Of course, I'm saying try. But let's just say hypothetically. Let's say hypothetically you big boy up and win those 4 games. You're the number 2 seed. More than likely. You're very possibly the number 2 seed if you do that. Last but not least, before I go to the callers, Chris Boswell. I ain't got nothing to say. We shouldn't have paid him. Maybe he kicks better. Soon as you get your money from being a dynamo, a clutch kicker, now you pick that. How many extra points has this guy missed this year? I think he now 6, I think. 5 or 6. You missed the first field goal, which I might add, score would have been tied. Okay? Just judging by what the scores were. Score would have been tied with that. Very worse, maybe we go to overtime. Okay? Then you have an opportunity to put it into overtime and you slip. The dude falls. Now get it. Granted, I understand people can fall. But bruh, we can't give you that pass after the history that you've had this season. You, my friend, have been garbage. And y'all know I don't like to say that about a pro athlete. But a kicker, and that's your only job, you have been garbage this season. Garbage. And we have to acknowledge why do we lose to these sub 500 or worse teams? How is it that we continue to play down to our competition under the Tomlin regime? I know what you guys are going to say, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that it's the coach's fault that the players don't perform. I'm not buying that. Again, I've outlaid the things that I disagree with about Mike Tomlin. Am I ready to fire him as the coach? I am not. But I need to see you make some changes, Mike. This defensive staff that you have, they have to go. And if you have been very, influential with the defense, and if you have hands in and calling the plays, it's time for a new plan. You need to bring somebody in there that can really do that. And you step away from it. Funny stat. Coming into this game, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the 7th ranked defense. Yeah. Isn't that funny? And how they perform, how are any of us to believe that after the last 2 weeks? Man, listen. Let me get these callers in here, B. Jesse, about to call you, man. Guys, outside of Kenyon tonight, I got to ask the rest of you guys 2 to 3 minutes at the max. Let's get you in, man. We're going to call Jesse first and foremost, man. Let's do it.
What's going on, Sam?
Man. Make me feel better if you can, man. I don't know how it's possible.
Oh, man. I don't know where to start, brother. I don't think Mike Tomlin should be fired, even though I do question his time management.
Mm-hmm.
The timeouts. That's repeated now, though, Sam. That's happened a lot. We could question that a couple different occasions.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we avoid playmakers on defense, man. That's what it is. We can't close the door on nobody. You know what I mean? We can't close. Ben come back in and give us the lead. We can't even hold them off at key times. We need some playmakers, and the sad part about it is we need playmakers on the back end. We need some more players on the back end, and we need some linebackers, man. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised at a couple down years. I really would. Everybody, I'm a Pittsburgh fan through and through, regardless of a 1-15 record or a 15-1 record.
There
You know
you
what I'm
go.
saying? But don't be surprised if we got a couple down years. And I'm on them Landry Jones haters. That was quick for Landry Jones to get kicked out the door. At least Landry Jones could throw down the field.
Right, man.
I don't want to question the quarterback decisions, man, but that was crazy, man. One first down for a run. How you feel about Juju, man? Juju is a star, man.
Man, Juju is a stud. It's plain and simple. And it's funny, man, because I know Kenyon probably remind me when he come on. I was the main one saying, why did we take a wide receiver in the second round? Because y'all know in that year we needed defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenyon was like, I don't know, man, Sam. This kid is a baller. I don't think we should have went receiver, but trust me, this dude ain't been nothing but a stud, man. Saving us. He keeps us in the game. I mean, let's just be real. And the dude almost scored on the last play, the hook and lateral.
The hook and lateral almost took it to the house, man. And Boswell, man, I don't know what's going on with him. I do not know what's going on. It seems like after he got his money, man, it's just like he don't know how to kick a field goal at extra point no more.
And he pushing them joints, too. You know what I mean? It ain't even like, sometimes guys, it's real close, they hit the upright. Sometimes they ain't got enough leg. He pushing, you can see they off like 10 yards down the field. They ain't even close. I don't know, man. You got anything else, man, before I grab these next couple callers here?
I know, how you feel about Randy Feetner. I like him too. But how many times is he going to call that same play that Ben going to get, how you feel about that? You don't think that's a little off that every time we go to the same play with no running game down in the red zone, that quick slant that almost got picked off, like how many times?
Man, absolutely. And I definitely appreciate you calling, Jesse. I know you probably still listening. I'm going to go ahead and grab the next one, but I'm going to answer what you just said. Yo, Feetner's getting on my nerves with that stuff, man. There's a couple things that Feetner's bothering me about, okay? Keeping us in 5 wide, which, if you want to take advantage of your matchup, great. But we're running the same plays all the time out of 5 wide. The quick slant inside. The quick, the wide receiver screen that sometimes don't go anywhere. Or, we're doing the quick screen game, which the screen worked a little bit today. Or we're doing what you just said. That play, that the quick turnaround to Juju or Vance McDonald or whatever, it is going to get, it's going to get picked. It's going to get picked. It should have been picked today. Feetner has to get more creative. And I know he's not the same type of guy, but when I look at what Sean Payton does with New Orleans, when I look at what the Chiefs try to do, exotic type of offense, when I look at Sean McVay, these type of guys, we need to be that with the weapons that we have. And sick of it, man. Sick of it. So a couple more calls, man, before we get Kenyon on. Right now, we're going to get Jeremiah Walker, and then after that, Caleb, and then after that, we'll bring Kenyon on. And I appreciate you guys, man. Shout outs to Jesse for staying within the time. 2 to 3 minutes, guys, and we'll get you out of here. But let's get Jeremiah on the phone. Jeremiah, excuse me. Oh, it's saying that you're not online, so we're going to go to Caleb real quick. Caleb Long, we coming your way right now. Yo, Caleb, what up? Caleb, you there? I see you on the line, but we can't hear you. Caleb going once. Jeremiah's calling back. Jeremiah, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, man? It's JJ, man. I just got a couple of things to get off my chest about Tomlin, man. You know.
Yes, sir.
So listen to this, man. So the after game press conferences, right?
Oh, I
Tomlin
missed it.
says.
Yeah, fill me
Tomlin
in.
said,
I missed it.
Yeah, Tomlin says, and I quote, and he's talking about Ben. He says he probably could have come in a series or so sooner, but we were in a rhythm and a flow of the game. Are you kidding me?
A rhythm.
A rhythm in a... While Ben was out, we went punt, interception, punt. What rhythm?
Yeah, man.
And think about this.
Oh, God.
The game is 14-10. You know, with Dobbs in the game, Fittner can't call the same plays he would for Roethlisberger because Dobbs is a different type of passer. He can't pass down the field like that. So he got to call a game different for Dobbs. You know? And I'm like, I know it's the Raiders, but this is the NFL, man. We got to get in the playoffs. They may be 2-12 or whatever, but Dobbs at this moment in his career ain't good enough to win a game like this, as we seen. You know? And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
Couldn't run the football either to help him.
Exactly.
You know?
We're not even running the football. We sitting here running play action with Dobbs dropping back and passing. Ain't done nothing since Ben was out of the game. And then now all of a sudden the Raiders score, and now you want to put Ben back in the game. You got to be kidding me.
And to add insult to injury, Ben make it look easy. He go right down the field.
Exactly. And think about it. If Ben was in the game, we probably wouldn't have been in that situation.
Oh, man. It's like I said, you know, we have to. It's like, again, like you said, I'm not at the point where I think the guy should be fired. I don't think he's been that bad, but I don't agree with that stuff. See, I didn't even hear him say that. And see, that ticks me off. Come on, Coach.
Exactly. When I heard him say that, I said, are you kidding me? I'm thinking, okay, maybe Ben's not healthy. You know, I don't know what's going on. But I'm seeing him on the sideline with his pads on, his hat on. I said, okay, why is he not in the game? We got Dobbs fumbling the ball, throwing picks. We struggling right now. And we trying to get in the playoffs. Man, I tell you, man.
At this rate, I hope we don't get in. To be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie, man, because see, the problem that we have a lot is draft position.
Yep.
And let's be honest, unless there's some stroke of a miracle, who are we gonna beat in the playoffs? Like the top teams. We ain't beating them.
Exactly.
So we'll be picking at 26, 25. Yep. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't have faith in that defense, man. I just don't.
Right. On the defense, we don't have playmakers. And see, people don't want to hear we may need to miss the playoffs. See, fans don't want to hear that. But that may be the case. Because we're picking low in the draft and we're not getting the playmakers that we need to create turnovers, to get turnovers, to be able to rely on our defense at times when our offense is not doing so well. But we can't do that. So I don't know, man. I had to get it off my chest, man.
No worries, man. I appreciate you sharing. Anything else before we grab Kenyon on?
Oh no, man. No, I'm interested to see what he got to say, man. Because this game right here, man. This one hurts. This one stings real bad, man. This one right here hurts, man.
Yes, but it does, man. No doubt, man. Appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts. I don't know what happened to Caleb, man. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Kenyon. Like I said, guys, I'm going to give Kenyon a little bit longer. You know, Kenyon is way out in the West Coast, doesn't get the call as much. But I think you guys will enjoy his analysis as well. So we're going to allow him to do his thing. So let me pull him up. Give me just a moment. Yeah, Tony is done. All right, here we come. Coming your way, Kenyon.
Yes, sir.
Man, First of all, let me get you to address this really quick, man, because I see people in the chat saying Mike McCarthy is available. The same guy. Listen, I'm not doubting his talent, but now we talk about somebody who hasn't done that great in Green Bay in the last couple years with an Aaron Rodgers. So we ready to just swap Tomlin for him?
Look, man. Look, it's so funny how people react towards games. I mean, I know people are mad. I'm not even mad. I'm like, the same things are happening every week, so I'm not angry. My point has always been the same, Sam. I've been saying this for 2 years. What have I said for the last 2 years about Keith Butler? What have I said? I've said the same thing. I said the Patriots exposed us. They showed everybody how to beat us. The blueprint was already laid out. We get into the nickel. They put the tight end on the linebacker. We get 8 up. Here's the reality of the situation. We run our defense like we still have Ryan Shazier. If you really think about it. We run the defense like Shazier is still there, but he's not. So those adjustments where Shazier could cover up a lot of our moles and a lot of our wounds, you can't do it now. Morgan Burnett is he's literally getting toasted. Like, it's almost like I don't even want him on the field. Like, that's how worried I am about it. AJ Fort is a backup linebacker who can help you in coverage. That's what he is. All the other linebackers are not playmakers. Everybody said we don't have playmakers. I've been saying this for 2 years. We don't have playmakers. If you're banking on Shazier was a playmaker, but he was really only one. I mean, you need multiple dudes. You need dudes that play corner. You need dudes on the defensive line. You need dudes that's playing linebacker. You have to be very versatile. If you're not versatile, people will expose you. The teams that are good will expose you. So all the teams that we play now, you're talking about the teams that we've just lost to. We lost to LA. We lost to Denver. All these losses are on us. It's not like it'd be different if the teams were better than us, but we're beating us. It's almost like you walk into a room. It's almost like self-sabotage. And some of the things that happened in this game, it was just like it became like I just started laughing because I was sitting there going, you guys do like the same stuff every week and expect a different result. You know, that's the definition of insanity.
Exactly. And they tried to rotate. Like, the funny thing is, I'm sitting there, I'm telling Lennon, I said, okay, I'll give him a little bit of credit for effort, but every guy they tried to throw out there on Cook was getting roasted. Every person.
I'm at the point, like, I was sitting there, I was talking to my friend, I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to Sim, man. I was like, I gotta get his number. We need to be texting buddies because we're really on the same page. We really just need to have chats like off time, you know what I mean? Because we're really think alike. So it's just funny to watch this team and to have that much talent offensively and to do the same stuff. And you know, with Finkner, I do agree with you. Those sets, they're predictable sets now. And then you can never make me understand why you would keep Ben out if he's on the sidelines jumping around, throwing the ball, and you're up 14-10. But then, like I just wrote, they believed in that defense, and I've said it before. What has that defense done to show you that they can stop people when it matters most? I don't care what you do in the first 3 quarters. I care what you do when it matters the most. That's all that matters to me. And the last 2 weeks, people have walked down the field on them, and it's a deja vu. What's the deja vu? The Patriots did walk down the field on this last year in the same situation. Down points, just throw it to Gronk. You can't cover him. Today was Jared Cook. Last week it was whoever it was, you know, the Chargers wide receiver killing us on linebackers. And it's almost like I understand the frustration of everybody, but the only blame I would put on anybody is to Keith Butler because he's never adjusted. He is a disciple of our previous defensive coordinator, but he just adds a little man to it. But he doesn't do anything different.
Nothing different.
So all this, you know, the anger, you can't – Tomlin gets blamed for his clock management like you always point out. I agree with that.
Bad.
But some of those, but, you know, I said this before. Tomlin wanted to get rid of Keith Butler. The Roonies wouldn't let him. So this Keith Butler thing, if you really go back and you go way back, you know, remember when they got rid of LeBeau, it was really the reason why they got rid of LeBeau is because Keith Butler was going to leave. He was going to walk because he was promised that job.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? So
Tony probably remember that too because we talked about that before.
It's right in front of your face. So now he has his chance. Here's the problem. You know, we talk about rookies get 3 years, and then we can make a judgment of them. He's had 3 years, and in this 3 years, we've had offensive that were Super Bowl caliber, as far as like being able to move the ball, but our defenses have never been that great. You know what I mean? It's almost like they addressed one side, and our picks, besides Shazier, because if you look at the defensive picks, I take that back. Shazier was a great pick. Also, Hargrave is a great pick, but he was a third rounder. So I understand people's anger with like, well, we should pick in the top 10. That doesn't guarantee that the guy's going to be good. When has that worked out? When you think if we picked in the top 10, I know what you're looking. You want the cornerback. You want the Georgia cornerback. You want the LSU cornerback. You want Mac Wilson from Alabama. You want old boy from LSU that just won the Buckets Award. You want one of those dudes. You think he's going to dramatically change our defense? That's just one player. We need multiple players on defense. I mean, man. I would argue they need to draft on defense like they draft on offense. Like, you know, you always talk about Juju, and you know, you didn't want to pick up Juju, and I said, look, man, I've seen this kid play. Look, you need to draft people that challenge people. So I know Hayward and Tua are there. Hey, man, draft another defensive lineman. I just want competition. I want people's jobs on the line because that's how you get a hungry, angry defense. And a lot of it is coaching. It's discipline comes through coaching, and then that's when it falls on the players. So you have to put blame on Ben because Ben throws that last pass. I mean, Juju made the catch, but I was sitting there going, "Why did you throw that?
How is it not a pick? I
mean, how is that not a pick?
If I'm Gruden, say we would have lost that game, I'm looking at that dude like, bruh, you could have ended the game right there. And what about that other play that I talked about earlier where the safety was sitting right there?
Yeah. It's just Ben always uses the excuse, I'm a gunslinger. Okay, so if you're a gunslinger and you're shooting bullets, where's your accuracy? Because you're not accurate. You know what I mean? Like some of the passes you throw is like, why are you doing that? Like it's the way he is. It's like you always say, it's good Ben, bad Ben. He has these. It's like he's two people. You know what I'm saying? He must be a Gemini. You know what I'm saying? Because it's ridiculous. It's almost like you watch him play, you say, "Come on, man!" It's like it then makes you. You know what frustrates you? So he makes bad plays, and then he comes in the game when they're down, and he goes 6 for 6. So you say, okay, why don't you do that every game? It's like Ben is. I'm telling you, man, that dude. I'm telling you, miss, something in his head, man. Something's off because he can make great plays. And I think, as I said, I was writing earlier when you were talking about figuring the spread and all that stuff. I was saying Ben likes to throw. Think about it this way: he loves throwing. He doesn't like running the ball. He likes throwing. He sees himself like Tom Brady. He sees himself like Phillip Rivers. I always tell people the mistake with that mentality is that's not us. We can pass, but we have to be able to run the ball. And when you throw those little slip screens, that's why I like Jalen Samuels, because if you get him like those little slip screens, he makes plays. I like that kid, man. But it's like it's interesting to watch the offense when Ben says, you know, with pass run ratio don't matter. Well, it does matter once you get into November, December. You got to be able to run the rock. I mean, Baltimore was running the rock all game against Kansas City.
Killing Kansas City.
Threw the ball like, 5 times, 6 times? And they were controlling the game. You know what I'm saying? And we have a more explosive offense. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the NFL's ultimate head case. There's no other team, no other franchise right now that is like Pittsburgh. They're the ultimate head case. Dallas, they just never win. So you don't think about them. New England, they're always disciplined. It's almost like if we were half as disciplined as New England was, we'd have won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Now who does that fall on? Because I hear a lot of people, they always want to say it's Tomlin's fault that the players are not disciplined. Like, how do you feel about that? Because to me, I feel like I refuse to believe that Tomlin and company are not coaching properly, like as far as technique and this and that. I mean, can they really keep players from holding or whatever, being out of position? Like, what do you feel as far as that, as far as coaching?
I think it's that's on the players. The analogy I would give you is like, since I'm on the West Coast, like, you like FSU, right? You like Florida State. That's your squad. Our squad is USC, right? You've seen we've had coaching upheaval recently. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch USC play this year, it was almost like they were so undisciplined. You know what I mean? Like penalties, like holding penalties every play. Like it was just frustrating watching them play. You know what I mean? So once you become a professional, that's on you. Like when they say that's the coach, that's on you, because you can't, if you're holding and in practice, they're telling you not to hold and they're drilling it in your head and you still holding, that's you. That's a you issue. You know what I mean? It's almost like we're the lesser version of the Cincinnati Bengals. You understand what I mean? Like Cincinnati has all the talent, and when they all play together, you see how dangerous they are. But when you watch us, we do the same things that they do, and it's kind of frustrating. But except Marvin Lewis, he's just not as good a coach as Tomlin is. So it's one of those things where you watch him play, you say to yourself, those things have to stop, because it costs you games. It's really, if you look at our season, and I'll ask you this question. If you look at our season, and if we would have played the way we should have played, we'll put it this way, we would have reached our potential. What should our record really be?
I think right now, let me see, which games. Yeah, going into that game, we probably should have been 10-2.
Exactly.
Kansas City, you got to take that L. Because that offense is so explosive. They caught us early. You got to take that L. Cleveland, hold on to the ball, James Conner.
Yep.
And we win that game. Denver, stop turning the ball over. Get in the end zone, Grimble. We win that game. San Diego, defense. Can you resemble the old school 2000-ish, mid 2000 Steelers defense? We win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, and who else did we lose? Who was the other one? So we said
we'll
give us two losses.
We have 4 losses. We have 4 losses. We got Denver, Kansas City, Baltimore. LA Chargers, and Baltimore.
And see, a game like that is exactly what I said about the Patriots game today. Divisional games, man. I mean, you can't never be mad if the Ravens catches one or if we split. I mean, look at that. You look at that series as far as the matchups. It's very even.
Yeah.
So I'll take that L. But the rest of them games, Steelers should have been coming in there today with a chance to be possibly tied for first place in the AFC with Kansas City having the tiebreaker.
Yep. And if you look at it realistically, it's almost like, and I know you're frustrated, everybody else frustrated, like, we have no shot, this and that, it's over. You start, I try not to look at it that way, because I can go there to the dark places and, my mind starts turning to the draft, like in week 14.
Right.
But I don't want to do that. I mean, I have people in mind, I always got people in mind and stuff, So, but it's just like, watching us play, I say to myself, we just need to really watch. It's almost like I don't understand how you can say you're in playoff mode, and then you're in playoff mode and you have been on the sidelines in the third quarter when you're up 14-10 with Josh Dobbs, who cannot throw from the pocket because he couldn't throw from the pocket when he was at Tennessee.
Right.
So if you're going to close the book, if you're going to condense the playbook and then try to run the ball, actually run the ball. And some of that's on the offensive line. This heralded, this is the one of the 2 or 3 best offensive lines in the league. Okay, so if you're one of 2 or 3 best offensive lines in the league, you need to be able to run the ball when you need to be able to run the ball. Fact. You just do. You just do. It's like, Dallas can run when they want to run. That's how I want to be. When I want to run, I'm running. That's how it should be. Our offensive line, I said it before. I know Marcus Gilbert is out, but Marcus Gilbert, this is his last year anywhere in Pittsburgh. So
yeah, you're right.
I'm just being honest, and as I said last week, it's time to get a center. I love Pouncey. It's time to get a center. It's time to get a real one. You know, it's time to get a youngin.
Pouncey be getting punished, man. That's
Hey.
Tony boy right there. Tony can't stand Pouncey.
Hey, well, Tony, you my boy. I like you, Tony. It's all good, but hey, man, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying?
Tony. I say that's his boy, but Tony always saying that dude be getting punished. He can't stand.
Oh yeah, okay,
Pouncey.
we on the same page. Then. All right, we on the same page. Yeah. I think it's just time, or at least bring somebody in that you know can eventually take over the spot. You know what I mean? They've done that well with the other positions. You know what I mean? Like with Filer and you know what I mean, and our draft pick this year. I think he's going to be nice. You know what I mean? I really like him, but it's kind of frustrating. But if you look at our team, it is what it is. It's people are clamoring for us to lose the rest of our games. You just said it earlier that you want us to lose the rest of our games, and we get a high draft pick. But I'm saying to y'all, like, you can pick number 3, and the pick could suck.
That's very true.
I mean, so it's not about that. It's about is the dude gonna make it, or is the dude not gonna make it? Is he gonna fit our scheme? And as I said, until we get it, look, Butler has to go because it's now everybody knows how to beat us. Everybody knows how to beat us. They're probably sitting there saying, "Oh, you know, Phillip Rivers said it." Hey, man, they never change. That's an indictment on your coach.
Yeah, and see, this is why I'm glad, man, and I wanted to give you the time to speak because it's the same thing I do, you know, when I do like my gaming podcast is
Right.
I like to have people hear it from another perspective instead of it just be me talking.
Right.
Because a lot of times when people, you know, of course, you know, you're going to develop your opinion and say, oh, well, he just feels that way. But this is the stuff I'm always saying to people. They don't realize the truth about the Butler-Tomlin situation.
Exactly.
You know, it's not Tomlin. Again, Tomlin doesn't own that defense of scheme or what have you. I mean, I would like to see him step in a little bit, but to be fair, we don't know. Like, I have no idea what Tomlin is assisting with, what Tomlin is overriding, what part of the scheme is Tomlin, you know, infusing. We don't know. But I feel this way about Tomlin. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince people that they should like him or hate him. If y'all want him to go, great. But that's why I always say, I want to hear your real reasons, because a lot of times y'all don't give any valid truth reasons as to why the guy should be fired. You just going with the popular, oh, he needs to go. But y'all have no idea it ain't all him. You know? Hate him or love him, he's not the sole reason why the Steelers have been unsuccessful this year with being a 10-2.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think Tomlin is he's one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the league, but he does make mistakes. I mean, it's so funny when people so funny when people say, you know, what clock management is bad. It is. He has bad clock management. He has bad challenge calls. He has a horrible record in that. And but Bill Belichick does too. But I always make this point. Those challenges and that bad clock management don't mean crap if you're up by 30. Take care of business. You can do whatever you want. Take care of business. And we don't take care of business. When you keep a game close, you let teams have faith and belief that they can beat you, they will beat you. Even a team like the Raiders, who I know we're 1-5 going out there, they're coming out this way, they're 1-5 coming out this way. But it's like, you know, Bill says he wants to rub it off his list. It's like, well, you know, play better. I mean, as I said before, I don't call him Bud Dupree. He's Elmer. He's Elmer Dupree to me. When's the last time he got a sack? It's so funny to me. He's a one-dimensional rusher, and I'll try to be nice. I'll let you point out the great things about Bud Dupree, and I agree with you. But he's a one-dimensional pass rusher.
He is.
He has one move, it's speed. He has no other move. It's so interesting how you go work with Von Miller and you don't pick up the spin. You don't pick up, you know, the arm over. You don't learn how to dip your shoulder real low. It's like, it's so interesting to me. I mean, he's a physical specimen. Like, if you look at him, and quite frankly, everybody, since you wanted a high draft pick, he was a high draft pick. Bud Dupree, high draft pick.
You know what's funny, man? This is the last thing I'll say about the Tomlin thing. I need you guys to stop acting as if myself or Kenyon or whoever else is giving Tomlin a pass. Ain't nobody giving him. Listen, I loved Bill Cowell. Loved it. Yeah. It's not about Tomlin. And let me just get the elephant out the room. a lot of people probably going to look at me on camera that don't know me and say, oh, everybody they just love the black coach. It ain't got nothing to do with that, honestly. Do I like Tomlin? Yes. Did I like him when he came in the league? Just seemed like a young coach with swag. I loved it. I was like, oh, I'd never seen nothing like that before. Guess who else I like that's young and seemed like he got some bravado to him? Sean McVay. Is he black? No. So, because people criticize me of that. Oh, everybody just want to keep it ain't got nothing to do with the man being a black coach or not. Is it great that he's an African-American coach in the NFL? Absolutely. I want every man to have equal opportunity. But at the end of the day, we are Steeler fans. We're not giving a pass to Tomlin. When you hear myself or Kenyon explain things the way we're doing, we're analyzing the situation on the field, behind the scenes for as much as we know, and giving you our thoughts. And we're just saying, based off of what we've seen, I don't think it has gotten to a point where you're going to expect the Steelers organization to fire Mike Tomlin. As much as we haven't won, I get it. We haven't won the big one since the last time. I get it. But look at the stats. No coach is going to be fired based off of his resume. That's all I'm saying. And we don't think that everything that's happening is his fault. That's all we're saying. You're not sitting up here hearing myself or Kenyon or anybody else in support of Tomlin saying he does no wrong. I ain't giving him no pass at all. I'm just stating the facts as I see it. Like we said, Kenyon just explained, or one of the other guys said what he explained after the game. That's asinine. For him to say, oh, well, we had a rhythm. I don't agree with that at all. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
we had a rhythm. It was called 3 and out.
Yeah, like if he said that, see, that's one of them times I have to be like, now come on, Tomlin. Now, don't feed me that. That's crazy. I don't if y'all really felt like that, I don't agree with that approach. Y'all should have got Ben back in the game. But just because I disagree with him, again, I'm just looking at the team resume. We haven't got the big one. Great. Okay, I understand it. That's why we're really mad, because we haven't won the Super Bowl, because in the AFC Championship a few years ago, New England embarrassed us, and we haven't gotten that taste out of our mouths. If anything, we need to switch the defensive scheme. And now if Tomlin starts having 3 consecutive losing seasons, then maybe his seat could get a little hot.
Different discussion.
Exactly. But I don't know why y'all think that's going to happen now. That's all I'm saying.
And Sim, and Sim is to address your father-in-law, Leonard, who just put up Tom doesn't have control of the team. Let me ask you a question, Leonard. Who would you have coach the Pittsburgh Steelers that's on the market that you feel can actually that you feel can get them over the hump? Because if you're going by resumes, Tomlin has been to 2 Super Bowls. He has won 1. This Sean McVay, Golden Boy, all these little offensive coordinators you're talking about, they don't have no Super Bowl rings. So who are you going to bring in that you think can get them over the hump? Because if you can't give me anybody that's better than the resume I just gave you, and there's only one person out there that's doing that, that would be Bill Belichick. We're not getting him. So if you want to talk about Andy Reid, never won. He never won. He don't have no chips. So unless you bringing in somebody that's better than Tomlin, we need to stop, because it's really, I know it's anger, but it's like a waste of time, because it's not going to change.
It's not going to change.
And it's like you're typing for nothing. It's like, why are you typing? It's like you can't get, what have you done? So you just said, what have you done for me lately? What he's done for you lately is he's been to the playoffs. He hasn't had a losing season. Has not had a losing season. Don't you find that interesting? You want him gone, but he has no losing season. Think about that. In this era, Bill Cowher had multiple losing seasons.
No, they don't remember that.
Yeah, don't remember that.
Explain to them how we got guys like Polamalu and Heath Millers of the world and Roethlisberger. Okay.
So everybody wants this big draft pick. This we lost. You know how we got those draft picks? Because we were losing. We were picking 11 when we got Ben, and he failed to us. Troy Polamalu, we did trade up to get Troy Polamalu to 16. I think we were picking at 22 that year. Yeah, picked 22 to 16. We traded up to get Troy. That was the one time we traded up. And then as far as like Heath Miller, we were losing. So if you want to tank seasons, like we're in the NBA, and you want to tank to get picks, and then you feel like that's going to help the squad, fine. But Jacksonville has had a number of first-round picks because they were losing. Correct, Sim? Haven't they had a number of first-round picks? Jalen Ramsey is a first-round pick, right? Top 10, right?
Pretty much.
Has Jacksonville won anything? Oh, my bad. They drafted a quarterback, their franchise quarterback that they're now going to cut. The draft, you can't tell me about the draft and say, well, if we pick here, this is going to happen. No, it doesn't work that way. It comes down to the scouting. Now we can get on our GM and say that he's missed on picks. You can say that. You can say that. That's the discussion. Talking. Now we can have a discussion if you want to get into that. You know what I'm saying? He's missed on picks. But if you're going to blame him for some picks, you have to praise him for the other ones. See, that's the problem. That's the thing with him. You can say, well, he messed up on this pick. Yeah, but he picked Juju. Yeah, but he messed up on this pick. Yeah, but he picked AB. Yeah, but he messed up on his pick. Yeah, but he picked Le'Veon Bell. And remember, they moved up to get Le'Veon. Remember? Because a lot of draft guys weren't high on Le'Veon that high. Remember? Le'Veon was supposed to drop to third.
Here's the number one thing I always see. But Tomlin won with Cowher's team. He won the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team. But how many Super Bowls did Cowher win?
Exactly.
Oh man, that kills me, man.
Exactly. How many chips did Bill Cowher win? 1. And when did he win 1? When he got a franchise quarterback.
I don't know. Again, we're not apologists for Tomlin. I want the best coach in that building.
Yep.
If the Steelers went outside the norm and they fired Coach Tomlin, I'd be like, oh man, that's just too bad. Appreciate what you did for us, Coach. And guess what? I'm gonna be on to the next coach. So, people can say what they want about giving. I'm not. I'm just clearly just giving you my reason as to why I don't think we can blame Tomlin for everything. We can't. We just can't. Not for everything. But I don't know.
I mean, I'll say this, Tim. When people say that Tomlin won with Cowher's players, you can say the same thing. That happened in San Francisco when Bill Walsh left, remember? I think Seifert won. Yeah, Seifert won with Bill Walsh's players. So you can say that. But the problem is that, Bill Cowher retired and Bill Cowher won the Super Bowl and he left on a high note. But he struggled for a number of years and we were not a great team. We had a great defense. We had a great defense and not a great offense. And we struggled those years. I remember those years like they were yesterday. I mean, they're kind of burned in my chest. But Tomlin has been to 2 Super Bowls, should have won 2 Super Bowls. And if you want to have a real conversation, they should have beat Green Bay, but my man fumbled the ball, and now he's writing for ballers. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? So, when you start talking about like coaching and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off too. Sim is pissed off. Tony's pissed off. Deb's pissed off. Leonard's pissed off. Eli's pissed off. We're all pissed off. But here's the reality. We playing the games. We see our faults. We're a flawed football team. We're a flawed football team. I don't want to see us lose and keep losing. Are we in trouble against New England? Oh yeah, because the game I saw today is the game I'm gonna see next week. That's the game I'm gonna see next week. It's the same game. Third and eight. Gronk, 10-yard out. Gronk over the middle. Gronk. That's what he's gonna see all game. And Gronk's not even Gronk anymore. So it's kind of like a weird thing. It's like you have to address the issues within the team. And to me, the main issue that I see, and I know, Sim, you see it, and you see it in all 22s. I'm seeing this, and I don't even have all 22. So that tells you. So it's when you look at that defense, you say to yourself, they have not adjusted. It's been 3 years. They have not adjusted. You know what it is? The sacks in your mind, it's like an illusion. It's like glitz and glamour. It's glitz and glamour. Oh, he got a sack. Oh, he got a sack. Man, I don't care about that. I care about you getting a stop when it's 3rd and 7. I care about you getting a stop when it's 3rd and 4. I care about you getting a pick when it's 2nd and 10. I care when Joe Haden is going for the ball and Sean Davis kills the interception and gives them a gift touchdown. That's what I care about. So is it luck? Is it playmakers? Joe Haden was a playmaker when he was at Cleveland.
Right.
But I don't want to call Joe Haden a loser. But hey, man, he never won at Cleveland. He never won. So I mean, what do you want? It's Keith Butler. I said it. I've been saying it for 3 years. It's Keith Butler. I'm not talking about it no more.
Yeah,
if me and you, when we have conversations in the future about stuff, I'm not bringing up Keith Butler. In the comments, don't ask me about. I told y'all how I feel. It's Keith Butler. I don't have to say anything else about Keith Butler. I told you what he was about. He's like a fake version of LeBeau. That's how I looked at him. He was a fake version of Dick LeBeau. That's it.
Crazy, man. Well, guys, we've been on a super long time, man. I may stay on a few more minutes to answer a few of the chats, but Kenyon, before I get you out of here, man, you got any last words for the good people?
Nah, man, I'm done, man. I'm done today because I said what I had to say. Hey, man, like I told you, man, whenever you want to, you ever want a Batman to your Robin, man, just hit me up, man. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. It's all good, man. I'm with you. Me and you on the same page with stuff, so it's kind of like, and it's cool because we do have different points of view on certain things, but we come to the same conclusion, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a great thing. It's like I love your perspective, and it's weird because sometimes you play good cop and sometimes I play bad cop. Sometimes I'll play good cop and then sometimes you play bad cop. Today you're just angry. Today I'm not even angry. I'm just sitting there. I was angry when Ben went out and they were down 14-10, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" That's when I got mad. You know what I mean? I didn't even get mad with the last drive because I was like, I know what's about to happen. There's too much time left. I said it. It's too much time. I said, and it's probably going to be Melvin Burnett getting burnt. And what happens? David Carr down the middle. And who was right there? Burnett. Never fails.
Yeah, Burnett got roasted, man. Like, and I get it. That was a semi-bad signing, man. I mean, the truth of the matter is, too, I'll say this last thing while Kenyon is still here. I'm trying to get my cousin Floyd on, man. If Floyd is listening, he wants to call in, but I don't know if he has Skype. And I have never had him on, so if he can call in, I'm definitely going to stay a little longer. But we got to start looking at the Rooneys and Kevin Colbert. Because I understand, I'm going to be the first one to say it here. I understand the steal away. You hear me quote it all the time. But I think it's time for us to start bending just a little bit. You might not have to dump a huge amount of money on a free agent, but can I see a few more moves like you made to secure Joe Haden? If Pat Pete is out there, something like that, because it's a different day. And I'm surprised that I'm actually saying this because I usually say it's the steal away. I get it. We got the 6 chips. I get it. But this is a new day and age. It's just like the kids now with social media. This is a new football, type of business. You got to go get it while it's hot. I don't know if we could just play that old Steeler Rooney way. You got to at least play. You got to play in the game a little bit. Like I said, you might not bust your gun all the way and, dump all your bullets out, but you got to fire some shots. So I need to see us a little more active in free agency to at least get. Just imagine if we could have. The dude made a play today. Tahir, what is his name? Tahir Whitehead.
Oh yeah, Tahir Whitehead. Yeah, Tahir Whitehead.
He was out there. You know what I'm saying? It's guys that you see that could have possibly helped a little better. And then it hurts me to my heart, man, to see that I draft pick balling for Dallas.
Yeah. Wait. And who told you? What did I say about it? What did I say? Remember we doing draft? What did I tell you? I said I saw this kid, Leighton Vander Esch, and I said we should get him. And you were like, yeah, I didn't look at the tape yet. And then when you saw it, you was like, yo. I was like, I told you.
Man.
I told you. And I will say this. With the money we didn't have to give to Le'Veon, to address your point about going to get somebody, that money can be used to get like a B-level to almost A-level free agent to bring in. So they can do it now. It just depends who's on the market. I understand with the Pat P, it's cool. Look, I like veteran cornerbacks that are playmakers, and I know Pat P it would be a nice fit. But how much is you gonna want? See, that's what I don't want to do. You know what I mean? Because Pittsburgh is a small market, so I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I feel you.
So if we can get some guys, see, to me, that's why I understand their way, because you have to draft your future star. You know what I mean? They have to be like, if you look at the Raiders draft pick Conley today, hey, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? He plays like Artie Burns should have been playing. We don't even talk about Artie no more. See, that's my point.
That's what I'm saying.
But we got to make a move with this 14.
No Cam Sutton out there, and I mean, of course, I don't want Artie out there, but that's where I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses, because I'm not. But when you look at the staff, as much as I say try something different, they really don't have nobody. I mean, at this point, I feel like, man, throw Brian Allen out there. Just tell him, look, just follow this guy. Press coverage. I mean, whatever. Because, I mean, it's better than having, a guy like LJ Ford out there. Just try it. It can't hurt nothing. But, if I'm speaking from my gut, we don't have the staff. We don't have the roster to really do what we need to do. And that's sad.
No, I don't think they've recovered from Shazier. I don't think they've drafted after Shazier was hurt. I don't think they planned for that. It's the equivalent. I mean, Shazier is not as good as Troy was, but it's the equivalent of losing Troy. But the difference between him and Troy is that on that defense, there were multiple guys. You know what I mean? It was Troy and Aaron Smith. You know what I mean? It was multiple dudes. You know what I mean? So they could have okay corners because they have multiple playmakers. Even Deshae Townsend was a playmaker. You know what I mean? He wasn't a great corner to me, but he was a playmaker. You know what I mean? And Tomlin's influence on the defense is there. You know what it is? When they run that cover 2 shell.
Yeah.
Because that's Tomlin's specialty. So.
But all right, man.
All right, brother.
We'll go ahead and pack this one in. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely be hollering at you, man, because I wanna get more of this going. Especially after the season, because we got to keep the show interesting. So I definitely want to have times when we actually have another panelist, yourself or Tony or any of you guys, man, because we got to keep it interesting. I know y'all don't want to just keep hearing me talk all the time, but appreciate you, man. I definitely will be hollering at you, man. I know I'll see you on Tuesday. But
yeah.
Appreciate all the insight you dropped on us today.
All right, man. See you next week. See you Tuesday.
All right, guys, that was our trusty Kenyon. Very, very, very knowledgeable, man, with, looking at things from a different eye, if so to speak. I know some people might listen to this and be like, how come you allow some people to talk long? Again, I like to get those who don't mind, giving their perspective, because I've done podcasts for a while, and I know some people just want to do a quick call. They might not be as detailed oriented. So, guys like Kenyon, I'm always going to let him bless you guys, because I want people to give a different perspective than just me. I don't want you guys to feel like, man, well, Sim always feels this way and Sim always, I want you to hear from somebody else, and hopefully we'll get people calling in that has a totally different opinion, because I want to hear that as well. And it's not a challenge thing. I'm not challenging anybody on whether you like Tomlin or whatever, whether you like the game. It's never about that. It's just having dialogue, So what I'm going to do now, man, is I'm going to go to the chat for maybe about 5 more minutes, man. And my cousin Floyd, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get him on. Floyd, I know you're watching. I know you're watching in the chat, and I know you text me. We'll get this figured out. If you ain't able to come on tonight, we'll get it straight hopefully by Tuesday. I just needed you to have a Skype account. That's all I need. Whether you call in on your phone or a computer, as long as you got a mic, boom. That's all I need is for you to have a Skype account, and that's how I'm able to take the calls. I don't know how I would be able to do it on the phone, so that's the only reason why I don't do it, via phone. But let's take a look at the chat really quick, guys. Just a few minutes here and see what you guys got. Go ahead, fire off your questions, comments, and all of the above. Steeler Card says we ain't even making the playoffs. Yeah, you might be right. Well, what's probably going to happen again? We're probably going to sneak in there, with the division, which I'm not sure now, because we got 2 beasts to play, okay? So realistically, if I went off of what I saw today, we got one more win at our disposal. So we could very well end up 8-7-1, okay? Very well. because I'm not confident that we will beat the Patriots, nor am I confident, and I haven't been confident all season. Y'all know this. I've been saying we weren't going to beat the Saints in New Orleans. 8-7-1 is what we're looking at. Jared Fry says, no, the division is bad. We'll make it. We'll see, man. The Ravens might have a better shot. We'll see. RJ Killer says, should we have at least traded for somebody before the deadline? Who, though? That's my only question. I'm not going to say if we should have or shouldn't have. Who would you have in mind? Who do you think we should have went after via trade? Michael Garman says, Sean Davis has to go. I don't know if I'm ready for him to go yet, but Sean Davis has to be a playmaker in the back. I think he's done a good job this season, a decent job, better than what we had seen from Mike Mitchell in terms of keeping a lid on things from time to time. But I need Sean Davis to start making plays back there via interceptions or passes swatted down, something, and we're not seeing that. So I got my eye on Sean Davis. Real Fact says, I'm expecting the same thing next week. Been in the offense score late in the game, followed by the defense being unable to close against Brady and company. Sounds like last year, right? I hate deja vu unless you're talking about the movie with Denzel Washington and Paula Patton. Other than that, I hate deja vu. Caleb said, oh, man, Caleb, I'm not sure what happened, man. I'll make sure I get you in on Tuesday. I'm not sure what happened with the phone call, man. Apologize for that. But Caleb says, the only person on the Patriots that burns us is Gronk, sadly. With the exception of the Hogan game in the AFC Championship, it has only been Gronk. But let me tell you something. Tom Brady didn't have Josh Gordon against our Pittsburgh Steelers. We need to be on the lookout. Mariano says we need a run game. Sadly, we are only one-dimensional right now. Very, very true. Victor Johnson said that's right, dual threat. I think you're talking about, the run game and not being one-dimensional. Night Wolf says, we couldn't beat a paper bag right now. Okay. Tell us how you really feel, brother. Eli Coolin says, Michael, Sean Davis has been really good. What are you talking about? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think, preferences have people feeling a certain way about Sean Davis. I don't think Sean Davis has been horrible, in my opinion. I think he's had his best season as a Pittsburgh Steeler and at playing free safety. But he definitely has to be more of a playmaker. Like Kenyon just said, Sean hasn't shown playmaking ability yet. Couldn't agree more with that. Jordan Mid says, Sim, we just don't have the playmakers on defense. Facts. Fully agree. Nick Boomer says, Davis had one today but couldn't catch it. Y'all remember the last time he had an interception that was key? Oh, yeah. Against the New England Patriots last year while they were driving and while Tom Brady decided he's just going to hook up with his boy Gronk. Y'all remember that? You remember when Sean Davis could have ended that game? Yeah, dropped that one too. And that one was really in his hands. I tell you, boy. Tony Yayo says, fire Bill O'Brien. Okay. Felipe says, Terrell Edmonds is horrible. Listen, I don't think Terrell Edmonds has been great. But, again, I'm never going to discount a rookie. That's just me. That's just me as a ex-football player, sports player. I am never going to discount a rookie and just call the kid a bust on offense or defense. Give him another chance. Let him at least allow him to prove us that he's an Artie Burns type. Okay, let's not throw him in the trash yet. Still early. Let me scroll down a bit further. Bryce Weath says, no, I think the last games were fixed because I couldn't see his point, but he's basically saying he thinks the last games were fixed. Okay. Austin Pasquale says Tomlin's clock management at the end of the game was awful. Didn't call timeouts when there was 1 minute and 50 seconds left after the play down inside the 10. False hope in the D. Gave our offense no time at the end. Okay. Well, you talk about on their drive? Because we didn't have 2 timeouts, and at one point we only had 1 timeout. So are you talking about on their last drive, Austin? Aaron Nayu says, Sim, do you know if there's any big free agents next year? Not yet. I don't know myself, man. Maybe Kenyon has already peeked at that, but I'm not sure myself who the free agents guys will be. I'm going to have to take a closer look at that. Bryce says, no one is calling after, so the refs needs to stop picking favorites. Okay. So Bryce is on the conspiracy theorist type of situation, which is cool. RJ Killer says Connor is supposed to come back next week. Does that help us win the run game at least? Maybe. What I will say about Jalen Samuels, I agree with Kenyon. I like the kid on the slip screens, but he did seem to have a little, timidness. He didn't have any decisiveness running the football, on the toss or on the times when he got out on the edge. It clearly saw times where he could have just cut in to pick up a quick 2, 3, 4 yards. I don't know. It's just me looking from the couch. But I feel like Connor has more of a burst, a hit it and go. He has more of he's in there and out of there. So I think that does help. But then again, the offensive line didn't look like they were that great today as well. Robbie Smooth says, discuss Tomlin maybe and the sons of leadership and keeping the lid on the drama. Because for me, solely the difference between New England and the Steelers is just how it is, how it's ran. You know what? You got a good point, Robbie. See, that's the thing. Again, that's a coaching thing that we can kind of look at and say, okay, why is it that, the ship isn't ran as tight? Again, I do still blame some players. For example, I don't know if Tomlin can stop AB from doing what he does and, the theatrics and things like that. But at the same time, I get it. Doesn't normally happen under the Patriots umbrella. I know. But at the same time, let's be fair. Let's call fair where it's fair. It's plenty of other teams, okay, and plenty of other coaches in the NFL that don't have a quote-unquote lid on it. Everybody always wants to throw the example of Belichick, okay? But at the end of the day, yeah, those players are disciplined, but they have mistakes as well. Bill Belichick has gotten rid of players, and, Bill Belichick, Aaron Hernandez, anybody? I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. You can't really predict these things, but I agree with you in saying that we gotta be a little more disciplined across the board, whether that comes from the top of Coach Tomlin or whether that comes from leadership or whether that comes from positional coaches. We have to look at them all and raise an eyebrow. But again, I just don't think some of these things that you guys try to claim, I don't think we can pinpoint that directly on Tomlin. And that's all I'm saying. But it is what it is. Again, I'm not here to convince anybody's opinion on Mike Tomlin. Real Fact says, I wanted Tyrann Mathieu as well. This guy is a Polamalu clone. Great at stopping the run, makes terrific plays on the ball. Yeah, and see, this is what I'm saying. That's a good example right there of what Kenyon was talking about. You get you a semi-stud in free agency. I think we could have gotten that guy. That may have been affordable. Now, I don't know, how much money we had this year, but those are the type of guys we need to look to get next year. Those are the guys we need to look to get next year. All right, man, so let's go ahead and get out of here, man. I think that's it for tonight. I mean, you guys have run me thin. We at an hour and 30 minutes, so I think this is a good stopping point. But that's it. I don't really have nothing else to say. Very, very, very disappointing loss. The Pittsburgh Steelers does not look like a playoff team right now. Again, the Steelers are also a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. And what I mean by that, the Steelers are messing around and give us false hope, right? Just follow this picture. The Steelers are the type of team that'll go and beat New England at home next week, okay? The Steelers are the type of team that will go down to New Orleans and somehow win that game, okay? Then the Steelers will come back and clean up the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? And the Steelers will end up 10-5-1. And you know what they would do? They will go in the playoffs and lose in the first round. That's the type of team that we have this year. No consistency, no rhyme or reason. They beat teams that you don't expect them to beat, and they lose the teams that you expect them to win, okay? They needed to win the Jacksonville game, which they did. They needed to also secure the Denver game, which they didn't. They needed to win the Oakland game, which they didn't. And the games that you expected to be tough for them, when we were at 6 games left in the season, we said, okay, tough games will be test number 1. The Chargers lost. Should have won that if they could have just kept the lid on it. Test number 2 will come next week against New England. And test number 3 will be the New Orleans Saints. So that's how it's going to go. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, our Pittsburgh Steelers will give us that false hope. And like I said, they'll mess around and win these next 3 games. And here we thinking they this and that. And they get in the playoffs and get shredded. That's how it's going to go, folks. Steelers will not win the Super Bowl this year. If I'm wrong and if I could be called Donkey of the Day after we win the Super Bowl, I'll take that. But as I stand right now, our Pittsburgh Steelers will not win the Super Bowl. Plain and simple. So all of this frustration and hope and crying and bickering and moaning is for naught, because we see what type of team this is. They may show signs at some time, and then they surely show the bad signs in other times. That is not a Super Bowl team. Okay? There you have it. Appreciate you guys coming through. We had a whole lot of people watching tonight, man, so I hope we can keep this going each and every week. Love you guys to death. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. For you guys who've never watched me before, on Tuesdays we do the official Terrible Towel Tuesday. We look at all 22 footage live in the stream. We talk a little more about the game, and then we look ahead at the upcoming opponent. There you have it. All right. Catch you guys later. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Cut on your notifications. And I'll see you guys Tuesday for Terrible Towel Tuesday. Y'all be good. Peace.